Hello everyone, here's my review for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So with the new film coming out, I figured it was time to take a look back at the first film. And it has never been a secret that I'm not a fan of this movie. And a good chunk of my issues with it simply stem from the fact that it was made by Illumination. I absolutely despise Illumination as an animation studio. I think they mostly produce schlock with a few exceptions, but for the most part, what they produce is complete slop. And I don't think the Mario movie is an exception to that rule. I want to start with something that is kind of unrelated to that, though, and that is the voice cast. For the most part, I actually quite like the voice cast here. Most of the celebrity casting isn't particularly distracting, but there's one exception to that, and it's Chris Pratt. Outside of him, Jack Black is actually pretty good as Bowser. I remember when this movie was coming out, I thought that was a bizarre piece of casting, but I think he actually did really well. Anya Taylor-Joy was decent as Princess Peach, but every time the movie would cut back to Mario and Mario would start talking, I would completely lose interest. Like, Chris Pratt is just not Mario. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's like he's not even really trying either. Like, it's really just Chris Pratt doing his normal voice, which makes his performance 10 times worse. There are a couple other things in this movie, though, that really do deserve praise. One being the animation. If Illumination is decent at one thing, it's actually animating movies. And the style of this film, while it's not the most interesting, it's pretty similar to what Illumination usually does, but that's not a big deal. The movie looks great. It's super vibrant, except for the sequences that are in New York at the beginning and the end, but that's part of the point. And I also really have to praise the score. Koji Kondo, who is a composer for the Mario games, was a consultant for this movie score, and that was probably the best decision they could have made because all of the themes that are here from the games feel like they're used properly. And they're used with tact, none of them are super in your face or trying to get nostalgia points from you. The score to this film is actually really good. The writing, however, is another story. My biggest knock against this movie was the pacing when it came out, and that remains true. And I know people like to say pacing doesn't matter, but then they'll try to watch The Godfather and say, oh, this is too slow for me. So I don't want to hear it. Pacing does matter, and you can make a movie that moves too fast. And the Mario movie is an example of that. This film is like 90 minutes, but it feels like it's half of that. Things will just happen and then the plot moves on. There's no real time for character or anything like that. The characters in this movie are quite flat, actually, and I think that's a byproduct of how fast this movie moves. The jokes are really also not well constructed from my perspective. I understand that humor is one of the more subjective things about film. And I will always give a movie the benefit of the doubt for that if it's just not my style. But I think a lot of the jokes in the Super Mario Bros. Movie are low-hanging fruit. And that's not like just because it's a kid's movie. Like, that's just Illumination style. I think their humor is very annoying and rather predictable. Like, there was not a single moment or joke in this movie that got a genuine laugh out of me. And for the record, there are animated movies that will do that for me, but the jokes in this movie are just so obvious. You can see them all coming from a mile away, which makes them unfunny. The soundtrack to this movie is also bizarre. It's like a bunch of pop songs. They do sneak the DK rap in there, which I thought was funny. But other than that, it's like Beastie Boys just because they're in New York at the beginning. And it's like, it's the same thing as the jokes. It's like such low hanging fruit that it's like, why is this even here? And before I throw out my score for this movie, I want to take this opportunity to discuss a topic about animated movies that I got a lot of shit for when I first reviewed this film, because I think a lot of people don't think that animated movies should be held to the same standard as anything else because they're for kids, but kids deserve good movies too. I think the entertainment and the stories that we show to our kids are very important. Like, I think we can all agree that there's a reason that, like, stuff like Coco Melon is bad for our children. And that's because it's slop. Like, obviously, we all know this. And I think when cartoons and animated films turn into slop like that, we have to call them out for it. Because there are great animated movies out there. There are great animated movies targeted at kids out there. The original Toy Story is one of my favorite films of all time. But I think this notion that kids movies need to be held to a lower standard and that you shouldn't criticize them for being bad when they're bad. The idea that kids movies are like just for kids and that we need to just give them a pass for that. That's ridiculous. And I should make another point about fan service because that's the same situation. Just because a movie has fan service or is for the fans, which I think is the dumbest thing ever, but anyway, just because a movie has fan service in it doesn't give it a pass for being a bad movie. And like, yeah, just to put it on record, I love Mario games. Like, I've played a lot of them. If you really want a list, I've played both the Super Mario Land games, all the new Super Mario Bros. Games, Super Mario Wonder, both Mario Galaxies, Mario 3D Land, multiple Mario Kart games. I'm looking at my shelf over here of games. And like Donkey Kong too. Like I've played multiple Donkey Kong games. Donkey Kong's in this movie. Like I see the fan service. I get it. It's again low-hanging fruit. I feel like that phrase describes this whole movie. So with that, I'm going to give the Super Mario Bros. Movie a 4.7 out of 10. My opinion on it has not changed, and I am not particularly looking forward to the new one, but I do love the Galaxy games, and my brother and sister wanted to see the new one, so we're going to go see it on Thursday. But with that, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one.